Thanks for visiting the patient weather today. I am meteorologist Al Peterlin. I'd like to talk about the weather health stresses for April 1st, 2026. We do keep additional graphics available at tpatw.com. We have a storefront on Amazon. Amazon purchases made through our patient weather storefront support the activities of patient weather. April Fool's Day will be one active weather day across the country with low pressure in the Pacific Northwest, probably snow in the higher elevations, a very active cold front hanging all the way from Colorado across Kansas, through central Illinois, through Indianapolis and all the way to Philly. Lots of activity above the frontal system and a very active band of weather stretching all the way up the southern plains from Texas clear on up into Kansas. And note an awful lot of winter weather here in the northern plains across the Great Lakes, and probably even trying to touch the most northern aspects of New England. Looking at our vitality index, we do have an area of activity here in the Pacific Northwest, lots of activity going on up and down the plains, and then another band of activity stretching all the way from the Great Lakes across New England. Looking at pressure change, we have falling pressure in the Pacific Northwest, Washington and Oregon. We have falling pressure in the central to northern plains, but very active here in the Kansas-Nebraska area, picking up actually easternmost portions of Colorado and westernmost portions of probably into Iowa. We have rising pressure all the way from the Great Lakes, Wisconsin, Michigan, across northern Indiana, and everywhere all the way across through Pennsylvania and all of New England, and all of the Canadian cities from Windsor to Quebec. Looking at temperature change, very interesting as we have warm air still hanging in the south and southeast. You can see that we have a sharp influx of cold air again, running all the way from Wyoming across South Dakota, Nebraska, all the way over through Iowa into Michigan, and actually touching south and picking up portions of northern Indiana, northern Ohio, and into Pennsylvania. Looking at dew point temperature change, you can see that we have rising dew points up the plains. We have falling dew points here along that frontal system or behind it from Michigan through Pennsylvania, and the vapor pressure very much just supporting that. Interestingly, here for the lifted index and instability, you can see that we're really trying to brew a bunch of showers and thunder showers all the way up the plains, extending up into the Ohio Valley and picking up even from Louisiana up into the middle Mississippi Valley and actually getting down into southern Ohio. So a very active inland portion with instability. Looking at the change in atmospheric oxygen, very interesting. We have a risk of migraine here across northern California, very coastal Oregon and Washington. And as we get down into the south, we have a migraine threat across southern California, most of Arizona and New Mexico, and actually streaming into westernmost portions of Texas. Jumping to the north, we pick up a risk of migraine again in Wyoming, right across South Dakota into Iowa, Minnesota, and stretching forth through Wisconsin, northern Indiana, northern Ohio, all the way through Philly, and covering all of the northernmost areas from the Great Lakes through New England, and once again, all those Canadian cities from Windsor to Quebec. We will have a risk of asthma and arthritis in Montana, another area of asthma and arthritis across Kansas, and then a touch of asthma arthritis risk here in central North Carolina into eastern Virginia. And of course, finally, another risk of asthma and arthritis here in central California. Thanks for visiting the patient and the weather. Your comments are appreciated, and if you hurt, let us know where you're located.